1A weekly pool service runs 120 TAs to $180 a month. That is $1,400 to $2,100 a season. The average basket at a pool store checkout is $80 to $110. Most owners walk out of that store 4 to 6 times a summer. Add it up, and a single backyard pool can quietly drain $2,500 a year before you have replaced a single part. Now, here is the number they do not want you sitting with. The actual chemistry keeping that pool clear, the raw materials doing the real work in the water, costs about $150 to $200 a season. Everything above that line is packaging, labor you could do in minutes, and a business model built on one thing: you not knowing how your own pool works. That is the forbidden secret. It is not a gadget. It is not a magic chemical. The secret is that pool care is 4 numbers and a 2-minute habit, and the entire industry is structured to keep that sentence from ever reaching you. 90% of pool owners are paying for complexity that does not exist. By the end of this video, you will see exactly how the game works, layer by layer, and exactly how to step out of it. Number one, the free water test is not a favor. It is a sales funnel. You have done this. The water looks a little off, so you fill a bottle from the pool, drive it to the store, and hand it over. 10 minutes later, a printout comes back with 10 or 12 parameters on it. Half of them are flagged in red. The employee walks you along the wall and loads your cart: a phosphate remover, a clarifier, a bottle of algaecide, a specialty shock, maybe an enzyme treatment. You leave $95 lighter, feeling responsible. Here is what is actually going on. 1. That test is free because it is the top of the funnel. The store does not make money on the printout. It makes money on the wall behind the counter, and the printout is designed to walk you to it. The more parameters on the sheet, the more products have a reason to exist. Take the phosphate number, because it is the classic move. Phosphates are algae food, and that sounds terrifying on a printout. So the store sells you a $30 bottle of phosphate remover. What they do not say is this: chlorine kills algae, whether phosphates are present or not. 1A pool holding 2 to 4 parts per million of free chlorine with the pH in range does not grow algae, period. Phosphate removers treat the food, while your sanitizer is what actually handles the pest. In the vast majority of residential pools, that bottle is solving a problem your chlorine was already solving for free. Same story with most clarifiers. Cloudy water is almost always one of 3 things: low chlorine, high pH, or a filter that needs attention. A clarifier clumps particles so your filter can catch them, which can help in a pinch, but it is a bandage on top of the actual cause. Fix the chlorine, fix the pH, run the pump, and the water clears itself. The bottle got the credit. The chemistry did the work. The fix is not to distrust every test. It is to know which numbers matter before you walk in. There are 4 that decide whether your pool stays clear: free chlorine, pH, total alkalinity, and cyanuric acid. Calcium hardness earns a monthly glance. When the printout flags something outside those 5, your default answer is not add to cart. It is, why does this matter if my chlorine and pH are right? Ask that question out loud at the counter. Watch how the conversation changes. Number 2, the wall of specialty bottles is mostly grocery store chemistry with a pool label and a 300% markup. This is the part of the video the industry genuinely hates, so let's be specific. Flip over a bottle of alkalinity increaser. Read the active ingredient: sodium bicarbonate. That is baking soda, not similar to baking soda. Baking soda. The pool store sells it for $15 to $20 for a small tub. The grocery store sells the identical compound for about $1 a pound in the baking aisle. Same molecule, same effect on your water. One of them comes with a picture of a pool on the front. pH increaser sodium carbonate. That is washing soda, sold in the laundry aisle. Borax, sitting right next to it, raises pH with less effect on alkalinity, which makes it the cleaner tool for that job. A pool that needs its pH nudged up does not know whether the compound came from a $4 box or an $18 bottle. And chlorine itself. Liquid pool chlorine is sodium hypochlorite, usually at 10 to 12.5% strength. Plain, unscented household bleach is the same chemical at 6 to 8%. It sanitizes the same way. You simply use proportionally more. 1. When liquid chlorine prices spike mid-summer, the bleach aisle is the same product wearing different clothes. One caution, and it matters. It must be plain bleach, no splashless, no scents, no additives. The label should say sodium hypochlorite and nothing clever. Now here is the honest line so nobody misquotes me. Not everything on the wall is repackaged pantry goods. Muriatic acid for lowering pH, cyanuric acid for stabilizer, calcium hypochlorite for shock. Those are real pool chemicals. Buy them as pool chemicals. The point is not that the store sells nothing useful. 1. The point is that the 3 adjustments you make most often all summer, raising alkalinity, nudging pH, and adding chlorine, can be done with products that cost 1/5 of the price, and nobody behind that counter is ever going to volunteer it. Their margin lives in the gap between what a compound is and what the label says it is. The smart owner reads active ingredients. The reacting owner reads front labels. Same shelf. Wildly different receipts. 1. Now, before we get to the layer that costs the most money of all, if this is the kind of thing you wish someone had told you years ago, I wrote a 39-page playbook called Jimmy's Pool Playbook from Cloudy to Crystal Clear. It covers the full grocery store method, exactly which products replace which pool store bottles with the doses, the complete SLAM process for turning a green pool clear without a service call, a printable weekly routine, and the only 5 numbers you actually need to test. I went from spending $600 a season to under $150, and my water has never looked better. 1. My daughter helped me put it online, so the link below this video should work. Alright, let's keep going. Number 3, the weekly service visit is 15 minutes of work sold as expertise. This is the biggest line item in most pool budgets, so look at it closely. A standard weekly service visit, the one you pay $30 to $45 per stop for, consists of skim the surface, empty the baskets, brush the walls, test the water, pour in chemicals, log it, leave, time on site 12 to 20 minutes. There is no diagnosis happening, there is no engineering. It is a checklist, and it is a checklist you can run yourself in the same 15 minutes with a $15 test kit. And here's the twist: most owners never see. The tech pouring those chemicals is often creating the very dependency you are paying to escape. The most common sanitizer plan in road service is trichlor tablets in a floater, because tablets are cheap for the company and require 0 return trips. Every tablet adds cyanuric acid, the stabilizer, and stabilizer never leaves the water on its own. It builds all season. 1 by August. Plenty of serviced pools are sitting at 100 plus parts per million of stabilizer, deep in chlorine lock, where the chlorine barely works no matter how much goes in. And what is the industry cure for the condition the industry created? A partial drain and refill? Build, of course, as an extra. Follow that loop one more time, because it is the whole business model in miniature. The cheap sanitizing method creates a chemistry problem. The chemistry problem creates a service call. 1. The service call restores the pool to the exact state where the cheap method can start causing the problem again. You are not paying for a solution. You are paying for laps around a circle. The fix is not necessarily firing your pool guy tomorrow. It is knowing what you are actually buying. If you are paying $150 a month, you are paying roughly $2 a minute for tasks at the skill level of watering a garden. 1. Take over the weekly routine yourself, and by the end of this video, you will see it is genuinely 2 minutes a day, plus 1 short weekly session, and keep a professional in your phone for the things that actually need one, which we will get to because that part matters too. Before we go further, here is the 2-minute version of everything the printout, the wall, and the route tech are built on top of. 4 numbers. First, free chlorine, 2 to 4 parts per million in summer. The active sanitizer. Second, pH, 7.4 to 7.6. 1. The dial that decides whether your chlorine actually works. At a pH of 8.0, chlorine loses roughly 75% of its killing power. Third, total alkalinity. 80 to 120 parts per million. The shock absorber that holds pH still. Fourth, cyanuric acid, 30 to 50 parts per million. Sunscreen for your chlorine too little, and the sun eats it too much and it strangles it. Correct them in order. Alkalinity, then pH, then sanitizer. Every time. That sequence on a card, taped inside the shed, replaces most of what you have ever paid a professional to know. Every video on this channel works the same way. 1 real numbers, no sponsors, no pool store upsell. If that is useful to you, subscribe. Number 4, the language itself is designed to keep you out. This one is subtle, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Walk the chemical aisle and read the names. stabilizer, conditioner, balancer, optimizer, shock in 6 varieties, algaecide 10, 30, and 60, clarifier and flocculant side by side doing nearly opposite things. None of these names tell you what the compound is. All of them tell you what to feel, that this is specialized technical territory and you need guidance to cross it. 1. Here is what is actually going on. Obscurity is the product. A confused customer asks the counter for help. The counter's job is to sell. The moment you know that stabilizer and conditioner are both just cyanuric acid, that shock is not a special substance, but simply a big dose of chlorine, that pH- is dry acid and pH+ is washing soda. The aisle stops being a maze and becomes a very short shopping list. The industry's pricing power lives inside that maze. Every plain English translation costs them margin. Compare it to the oil change business. For decades, drivers were told 3,000 miles or your engine dies. Modern oil and modern engines routinely go 7,500 to 10,000. The interval was never about your engine, it was about visit frequency. Pool chemistry runs the same play. Make the routine sound fragile and complicated, and the customer keeps coming back on schedule. The fix is vocabulary. Learn 8 words and the spell breaks. Chlorine is your sanitizer. Cyanuric acid is its sunscreen. pH is how acidic the water is. Alkalinity is pH's shock absorber. Calcium hardness protects your plaster and heater. 1 shock means a large chlorine dose. Muriatic acid brings pH down. Baking soda brings alkalinity up. That is the entire language. Everything else on the aisle is a dialect of those 8 words, priced like a foreign language. Number 5, the secret has a second half, and skipping it is how owners get burned. Here is where this channel parts ways with the angry version of this video you have seen elsewhere. The secret is not the entire industry is a scam, and you never need anyone. That version costs owners real money too, just in the other direction. 1. The honest secret has an edge on both sides. Never pay a professional to pour baking soda, and never play amateur with the things that can actually hurt you or your equipment. So let's draw the line clearly, because nobody selling you anything will draw it for you. You handle the water. Daily chlorine and pH checks in July, 2 minutes each morning. Weekly alkalinity and stabilizer. Shock at dusk, never under a midday sun that burns off the dose before it works. Pump running 8 to 12 hours a day in summer heat. 1 water level halfway up the skimmer. Check twice a week, because a pump that pulls air runs dry, and a dry pump is a $1,500 to $2,500 replacement that started as a garden hose you forgot to run. All of that is yours, and none of it is hard. The professional handles the machinery and the mysteries. Electrical work on pumps and heaters, water and electricity are not a savings opportunity. Opening a pressurized filter or heater you have never serviced. 1A suspected leak that survives the bucket test. Fill a bucket, set it on a step so the water inside matches the pool level, mark both, wait 24 hours, pool drops more than the bucket. That is a leak, not evaporation, and leak detection is genuinely skilled work worth paying for. Structural cracks, gas lines, anything under warranty where a DIY repair voids coverage worth far more than the service call. That is the trade the industry never offers you because there is no margin in it. They want the monthly contract that bundles the 2-minute tasks with the real expertise so you can never see which part you are actually paying for. Unbundle it yourself. Own the chemistry. Rent the wrench. The owner who knows this line spends $200 a season and makes 1 or 2 smart service calls a decade. The owner who does not either bleeds $2,500 a year to a route truck or destroys a heater trying to save $150. Both of them think they are being careful. Only one of them read the water, so there it is. The free test that funnels you to the wall. The wall that sells you baking soda at a 300% markup. The service route that creates the chemistry problems it bills you to fix. The vocabulary built to keep you confused. And the honest line between what is yours and what is worth paying for. Look at the pattern underneath all 5, because it is one pattern. Every layer of this industry is priced on the distance between you and 4 numbers. The further you are from knowing your own free chlorine, pH, alkalinity, and stabilizer, the more every bottle costs, the more every visit costs, the more every diagnosis costs. One knowledge is the one product the industry cannot sell you, because the moment you have it, most of the catalog disappears. And notice what stepping out of the game does not require. Not a chemistry degree, not your Saturdays. A 2-minute morning glance at a test strip, one short weekly session, and the willingness to flip a bottle over and read the back instead of the front. The owners who never write 4-figure checks to their pool are not working harder than you. They just stopped paying retail for information. 1. If you have ever caught one of these layers on your own receipt, the phosphate bottle, the $18 baking soda, the service plan you finally did the math on, drop it in the comments. What was it, and what was it costing you? Help the next owner see the funnel before they walk into it. If this was useful, subscribe. This channel reads the water, not the marketing.